Newsfirst, face to face.
Good evening and welcome to Face to Face. I'm Niresh Eliathambi. With me tonight is Barath Arullsamy, Vice President of the Ceylon Workers Congress and Chairman of the Plantation Human Development Trust. Welcome, Barath.
Well, hi. Thank you for having me here.
So, Chairman of the Plantation Human Development Trust. Now, this is an area which is vitally important. You have a lot of issues which you have to deal with. Housing, land rights, wages, all that is in the news right now.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit? We could go one by one. Let's start with the wages issue, which is, of course, a major point, and there has been a lot of discussion and negotiation. Even the President has made his feelings known.
Yes.
But of course, there is the other side of the coin, which is the profitability of the plantations themselves.
Yes.
Tell us what's the situation with the wages.
And on behalf of Ceylon Workers Congress, we have made our statement very clear. Our Honorable General Secretary, Honorable Minister Jeevan Thondaman, and our President Honorable Senthil Thondaman, both of them in their media statements, they have emphasized the fact that initially we have to understand we are the only trade union which consider about the sustainability of the industry and also about the rights and welfare of the workers.
That's right.
And also we always feel that these two elements should go together. And there was a first meeting we held with participation of the Labour Minister, where myself and Honorable Jeevan Thondaman Minister went for the first meeting. Then, there was a raft between us and the employers, especially the regional plantation companies and the Employer Federation, saying that, the decision we took 2 years back for the 1,000 rupees wages, and they went to the court and abrogated the collective agreement. So a lot of stories behind that, which you are well aware. But we went with open arms, first we will come back to the collective agreement.
Okay.
Then we will also look into the wage increment, because due to the cost of production, cost of living, and also the rising the important elements in the livelihood of the people.
Yes.
It has gone very far. This 1,000 rupees is not enough for a day for a worker. So we told the fact that the price has escalated, the living cost has been skyrocketed. So it is the high time for a wage hike.
Right.
After that, the decision was made by the Labour Minister to appoint a subcommittee to discuss this matter. So there were nomination made by the employer's side, to have a few nominees, and also on our side, we nominated our senior counsels, Mr. Marimuthu, Mr. Rajadure, and Mr. Rajamani, to facilitate and negotiate with the companies. So we had 2 discussions with them, but unfortunately, they are not in a point to come for a consensus for a wage hike. That is basically the rise in the basic wage, unfortunately.
I see.
And they had proposed for a MOU, and you and I all are aware, MOU is not in a enforceable mode, because it's just an understanding between 2 parties.
Right.
So even though we had a lot of understanding earlier, when a term is violated, then there was a lot of legality behind that. So we don't want to take a chance. Then we also invited them for come to collective agreement, as in the past, before 2021. But unfortunately, the companies are not in a favor to come for a collective agreement. So that we made a collective decision through as a party, and also we had our General Secretary Jeevan Thondaman had discussions with the Labour worker elements, worker representatives representing the wages board, that we should go for a Labour wages board decision.
Wages board.
Yeah, wages board decision, which will come as a basic wage of 1,700 rupees plus the budgetary allowance and the EPF, ETF. So we have given our concurrences to the Labour Minister. So Labour Minister is like, I think during this month he is going to summon the Wages Board, so that the Wages Board decision will be taken in favor of the workers. Why I say in favor of workers? Not because of anything else. We don't want to put the plantation companies into trouble. But when a sustainability should concern, that the workforce, the working capital should be enhanced. So on that basis, we have made a request.
What is the time frame you are looking at? I recall the President wanted a decision by the 31st of December last year.
Yes.
But it doesn't quite happen like that. These are processes. Now that you have put it to the Wages Board, when can you practically expect this?
Actually, decision? I should really commend and thank His Excellency the President on his initiative, because the President is so emotional about our plantation sector workers, especially their livelihood. And his support is very immense for our minister and also for the organizations. And also as a pioneer trade union in this sector, we had made our representation to President, like, these are the factors which is affecting the workers, so that they should be considered a wage hike. So we have, it is not a, arbitrary decision we have come upon. We have several discussions with every stakeholders, not only with the RPCs, but also the tea traders, tea exporters, everyone. We have, we have made our representation why this human capital should be looked after. Because if there is no workers, now the companies may claim there is a big shortfall in or a drop in workforce. Because it is not our mistake. It is if we are working for a company, so it is the company's duty. If you are talented enough, they should look after you with the necessary wages, necessary facilities. Then only you can talk about sustainability. But we are requesting also for the companies to come up with a sustainable plan. And also I forgot to mention, they proposed a plan for a productivity model. That is like something similar to outgrower profit share model. We are not saying no for that. We are, as I told you, our CWC is very much open for a productive model. But the existing productive model are very much, the practicing part is really doubtful whether the sustainability and the worker is like treated in a fair manner, because his hard work, his hard earning, whether he is getting the guaranteed benefits out of that, because he's losing his statutory dues, he's losing his job work guarantee and working environment, so that he should be compensated with a proper plan. So that element is missing in that arrangement. So that is the major reason we are going for the wages board. But we are open for the productive model. Our Minister Jivan Tondaman and our party president and our party high command has already expressed to all stakeholders, including the ILO, we are open for a productive model, providing which in this spectrum you should have a wage hike. Then we can negotiate and come for a understanding for a productive model. This productive model also, to highlight the fact that in 2019, when late Minister Armugan Tondaman was there, we initially proposed come up with a uniform model, whereas everyone will benefit, where there should be a win-win situation for the employer plus the employee. So it shouldn't be one side oriented. So that is what we are not much comfortable with the proposal, but we are in future, we are looking forward to support that, providing which at the moment we are looking at a wage hike.
Estate infrastructure, housing, which is another key element. What's the situation there?
As you mentioned earlier, the Plantation Human Development Trust is a tripartite body representing the government of Sri Lankan officials, especially the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Health and Plantation Ministry, and our ministry, Ministry of Water Supply and Estate Infrastructure, and also the regional plantation companies including the Planters Association, and also two major trade unions such as the Ceylon Workers Congress and LJEW. So it's a very vibrant board we do have. and the board members are very progressive. What we want, everyone are in the fact that they wanted to create a very transformative living environment for our people. So accordingly, we have two sectors of housing. One is the ministry housing, which is done through the Ministry of Water Supply and Estate Infrastructure, and the other we have commenced is the Indian Grant Housing Project, that is Barath Lanka Housing Project. So we have already we should be very thankful for the Indian government and the Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi ji. So with their support, we have built 4,000 houses, and also we are commencing build 10,000 houses in the second stage. So in that we have commenced work for 1,300 houses, which is we are doing currently we are on the track of clearing the lands and doing the surveys and stuff. And I hope by first week of April we'll be start constructioning. And also there are two elements, implementing agencies such as NHDA and SEC, the state-owned engineering entities. So they are the agencies which looking after and monitoring the entire project.
Right. So this would be in the Nuwara district and the Badulla district?
No, it is like if it is political, we should have given priority for central province and Uva province. But Honorable Minister Jeevan Thondaman wanted to take it for the entire community where the IoTs are living outside. So we are starting from Kurunagala district, Matali district, Kandy district, Nuwara, Mondragala, Ratnapura, Kagal, Badulla and Kaluthura up until to Gaul. So we are starting at, we are looking at 10 districts. So we are doing nearly 45 projects as a starter. So we are looking forward to complete this 1,300 by August if everything goes well. And we are looking forward to commence the balance 8,700 also by mid-August. So this is, and also highlighting about the Indian ministry housing. So ministry housing, even though there was crisis in our country in 2022-23, and also the pandemic situation in 2020 and 2021, we have now recently we handed over housing projects in Holyrood Estate, Talawakela, and Nanoya Estate, Clarendon in Nanoya. So, and we are expecting to complete another 3 projects in Hatton region and in one in Gaul. And also we are last year also we have allocated more than nearly 600 million for completion of these houses. This year also nearly 600 million to complete these houses. Our expectation is if we want to have a real political mileage, we would have stopped all the pending work and we would have started our own house building. But instead of that, Minister gave a clear direction that we have to, whatever said and done, it is the state money has been invested in this. So we have to complete all the houses. So from 2015, 2019, in the last government, there was a carryover of 600 housing units, which was started and abandoned fully. So Minister wanted to complete it fully, then start on new projects. At the interim, after he becoming the minister in 2021, he initiated around 500 houses, which we have completed and handed over. And also we are looking at to complete another set of 1,000 houses as quick as possible with the, there's a challenging factor of this economic crisis. Despite the fact that with the able team of us, we are through PHDT, we are completing those houses as well.
Right. What about the land rights area? There were some decisions on awarding land rights.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on that?
One major requirement of our people is obtaining land rights. So here one should understand it is very different from the north and east land rights. There are representations have made the private owned land has been taken by the government and they are demanding to get back that land.
That's
But
right.
our land issue is much more different. We are living more than 200 years in the areas, especially in the line rooms, but we are not capable or we are not in a position to obtain a piece of land for housing purposes because there are a lot of legal framework. So, Honorable Minister Jeevan Thondaman entrusted me with the task of like formulating the policy. So, we on this couple of years, we started formulating the policy. So, under the Saumya Bhumi deed program, where we are looking at to provide housing land rights for our people. So now, according to the data of PHTT, there are 2,76,000 houses, families are residing in the estate. In that, nearly 65,000 have built their houses through various schemes. That is by Indian government fund, our ministry fund, NHTA, self-built houses, donor funding, and some foreign agency funding. So these nearly 65,000 houses which has been built, but unfortunately only 1/3 or less than 1/3 has deeds for that. And also the other families doesn't have a house, they still live in rent rooms. You know, a lot of references made like, you know, people living conditions are the same, they are not in a position to build houses. Why CWC being a pioneer organization, why didn't it do that? So I just wanted to touch on history also a little bit, because when 1948, when we got independence, the country got independence, unfortunately our people lost their independence, we became stateless.
Yes.
Then in 1960s, we were forcefully repatriated to India, which we came after 5-6 generation. We didn't know what to do, so we were forcefully taken back. Then again in 70s, 80s, there was communal riots, a lot of internal problems. And after 90s, we have to safeguard our people from the civil war. So our requirement then and there was, our priorities then and there to safeguard ourselves and, you know, maintain the stability and, you know, safeguard our people. So then leaders, they were very smart. They prioritized some needs and made them accessible to our people. So our real development started by the end of, like, you know, by 2005, 2006. Then only it started, the development era started. So this land rights, everything was like, you know, highlighted in that period. So what we are looking at, as I told you earlier, everyone is talking about providing land rights. Why can't they build house? Why can't they do? So now technically we are in a state land. The regional plantation companies are just lessees of the state land.
Yes.
So they are not in a position to release the land. It is up to the state to release the land. So for that, we have to develop a proper policy framework. So we have, through PHTT, we have identified the database, those who need houses. Then we have submitted to our ministry. Through that, and thanks to President again, like in his speech in our NAM 200, and also by the cabinet approval. There was a joint cabinet approval given by, tabled by our ministry, the Ministry of Water Supply and Estate Infrastructure, and the Land Ministry and the Plantation Ministry to provide land ownership for the people. So what we are looking at is 10 purchase of land for every family who are living in the lime rooms. If we provide these land rights for these people, this so-called line system or like, you know, marginalization will be come to an end. This is what we are looking at. And also that is one of the core fundamental element we are looking at. So that is what Minister and the Ceylon Workers Congress and the Plantation Human Development Trust under the Ministry of Water Supply and Estate Infrastructure, including the civil organizations. And a lot of advocates are for that. They were advocating for the land rights. We have joined hand with everyone, not isolating anyone on the impact. We have got together everyone to win back the rights, which we are like, you know, as Minister, as Excellency President mentioned his landmark speech in this Urumaya program. Those who toiled for the land should be given the ownership of the land. So we have been, you know, sacrificing our lives to the upliftment of this land. You know, we like The jungles were created as a highly producing, tea producing areas. So what we are looking at, we are not asking acres and acres. At least if you know, there might be a counter argument. If you provide like, 100,000 people, 200,000 people land, then there will be no tea land. No. Out of the entire tea land or the plantation sector land, we are going to ask only, nearly it will go around 4,500 hectares. That is just 1.7% of the entire tea plantation land. If you go and look at the unutilized land in the tea plantation lands are much more higher than that.
Right.
So what we are looking at, as I told you initially, if we can develop and enhance and empower the human capital in the plantation sector, it'll give more productivity. But if you are bluntly speaking, if you talk about capitalism, I just wanted to mention it is a conscious capitalism where each stakeholder grow together. So then this industry will grow together. This is our intention. So for that, the president has appointed a committee headed by the Prime Minister, so to look into this matter and develop a plan. So it is in the pipeline. So I hope by a minister also insisting to finish it by kickstart this project by in the month of May. So it will be a continuous project. And also to highlight the fact that when late Minister Armugan Tondaman was there, we gave title deeds for 50 families, and after Jeevan Tondaman minister took over the office, through New Villages Development Authority, we gave 101 deeds in Rambode area. So we are working on the process. What we want is to create a proper policy. If not,
so you're confident of some progress in this
definitely
area?
it is almost everything is agreed. So I can assure that under the leadership of our minister, we will definitely get the land rights for our people with the support of everyone. So for the with the support of government, civil organization, regional plantation companies, everyone.
So now, Barath, for the last couple of years, the people of this country have been calling for a system change.
Yes.
However, it appears that the plantation community has been asking for a system change in various more fundamental areas, housing, land rights, wages and so on. Now, with elections due this year and maybe next year, we are likely to see some change.
Yes.
Perhaps the party in power will change, the president may change, and hopefully we will also have the local government elections,
Yes.
Which would be more representative in terms of democracy.
Exactly.
For the people. So in this backdrop, where does the CWC stand with in relation to elections and the various politics that's going on now? We see it happening,
Yes.
with all the parties. So what's the stance of the CWC?
Actually speaking, now just to highlight the fact that when you talk about a system change, there are a lot of school of thought, like there should be a constitutional change, there should be a administrative change, there are a lot of things. In my personal perspective, in my legal background, what I would suggest is the lack of accountability is one of the biggest problems Sri Lanka does have. As a younger generation people, like representing the younger generation, I really look forward a change in accountability. So now, according to our articles, our constitution, Article 27 says there should be accountability, and in Article 29 says it is not mandatory. So there is a contrasting thought. So I would say it should be should be placed in black and white. This is what should be done. So there should be independent commissions. It should be guaranteed by constitution. So those are the major elements which we are looking at. On the other hand, on the plantation sector as a whole, when you look at our education system, there is a separate unit called plantation education. When you talk about health, you have plantation health. When you talk about infrastructure, you have our ministry, Estate Infrastructure Ministry. But we are so-called citizens of Sri Lanka. But unfortunately, we are always looked at in a different mirror. So what, as a younger generation, even our party in the perspective that we should be included and integrated with the national mainstream. That is one important element. So
Very
like
important.
very important element, because we went through a lot of hardships. We should be given priority. So this having plantation health, having plantation infrastructure, having education, it's a good thing. But if it carries for another 10 years or 20 years, it is a failure. So we should be like, we are also citizens of Sri Lanka. So why can't we enjoy what others are enjoying? That is our major question. And
so would it be fair to say that you would be receptive to ally with other parties which you feel would bring about such changes?
No, that's what I wanted to mention. So one progressive thing we observed in President Ranil Wickremesinghe, when we approached him and when we pointed out this initiative, he immediately approved, and he just not only just for a in a paper, just for a namesake, he didn't do anything. But he materialized that. As I told you, for the land rights, he appointed a committee. We got the cabinet approval sorted, and he introduced a committee for national integration, the plantation community. So everything is very progressive on his side. So that is what our Minister Jeevan Thondaman and our party president and also our MP Rameshwaran is supporting his visions and his decisions. And also in political sphere, when it comes to elections, it is not an individual decision our party makes. It is a collective decision. Our party National Council will decide whom we are going to support. But it is too early to predict to support whom, but we are carefully observing, because as a community which has been portrayed that we are marginalized, we are very much vulnerable, but it is our responsibility as a responsible party to look for the very opportune moment to empower our community. So that's what we are doing right now. So that's what we have been doing all through years. So we are very much carefully observing what is the political trend and the framework. Any progressive person who comes up with a solid plan, like just for namesake now, I remember when we were struggling for 1,000 rupees, some said we will get 1,500, some said 1,000 to 2,000. So fancy figures they can say, but practicality is another question. So what we felt in President Wickremesinghe is that he is very practical person and is also putting it in action. So that's what we also needed. So we will take a collective decision as a party whom we will be supporting in upcoming elections.
Very good. So it sounds like a very well thought out strategy, and I'm afraid we are out of time. Thank you very much to my guest, Mr. Barath Arullsamy, Vice President of the Ceylon Workers Congress and Chairman of the Plantation Human Development Trust. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Naresh.
That's all the time we have. Thank you very much for watching. Good night.